Sorry guys, I just noticed that my voice was not recording, so just had to fix that real quick. Definitely was a weird week for me last week, right? Just quite slow compared to what's expected. Just looking at the weekly range from last week, we only saw 500 handles pretty much. So not much there. We went down aggressively and then just traded back into said range. We are leaving, if I go to my intra-week time frame, a very large consolidation. And of course, there's a bunch of SMT. There are a bunch of confirmations that this could be some sort of low that we could utilize to then go ahead and trade higher. But again, I don't like leaving consolidations like this down. But if we look at the past, and specifically in this 1 hour chart, consolidation into continuation, consolidation into continuation. Hence, what I'm trying to see now is consolidation into continuation lower. That would be my best bet. But if we look at the profiling as we just saw, we are due to go back higher. Now, higher where? Well, we have our higher objectives, right? We have the fact that even though, NASDAQ is a little slower than ES, I believe that NASDAQ will catch up to go towards these bullish. And if we profile, right, if we look at seasonality more specifically, we could go and have a look at the app very quickly. You know what? Let's go for it. Let me switch my screen. And we are actually going to go have a look at seasonal tendencies in the app because this is affecting greatly what I am looking for this month specifically. So let's go look at that very quickly. It's a great chance for me to showcase the new analysis in the app anyways, so why not? A bit different than what we usually see. And if let's just have ES plotted here as well. If we look at both these assets, we can notice one very simple thing. So based on averages, which of course now you see 15-year, 10-year, 5-year all-time averages, what does October do? Well, October forms a low on NASDAQ, but just goes up on ES. What is that? That's a Kraken correlation. So you can see that without using candles at all. You can see that at the beginning of October, NASDAQ tends to have a little bit of a rougher time, but form a low very early, and then this starts the run that is bullish up until the new year, and we go back to seasonality, right? This is a slow trend higher as we see ES do the exact same thing, right? Form a low early in October and expand higher quite aggressively, right? If we go back to TradingView now, I need to create some little shortcuts because I do want to be sharing this. I just noticed I wasn't sharing my screen, was I? To you guys in Discord. Can you guys give me a little quick confirmation? Did you see anything? I was? Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so just because I closed it, it is not there anymore. All right. I'm going to get used to it. Don't worry about that. But if we go back on our chart, what does that mean we are looking for? Well, looking at a daily chart, and if we put some vertical separators here, so we have a little bit of an easier, we're looking for NASDAQ and ES, right? Both assets, so both indices, to be forming some sort of low that will go on into price, all right? And for me, I wanted that low to be formed while taking out important liquidity. Was that a necessity? Not necessarily. Why? Because if we look right here, we have a key point in structure, right? A key point in liquidity. We clearly rebalanced this gap, traded back into it, offered both sides of delivery, traded back down, but decided to go back in inverse. This is a zone where I'm looking for key structure to be made. Now, I did want us to go sweep this sell side, these lows down here, but we don't have to. So for now, I will be framing the lows of the previous week to be not revisited and to support higher prices. That is my low of October, a clear open low. But if we do start trading back into this, and I'm talking early in the week because, oh, I'm all over the place today, right? We did not even look at the news. So let me actually go get that picture for you guys and let's talk about the news. I went straight into price. Sorry, guys. As I said, a little all over the place tonight. if we go ahead and we look at our news, we have late week news, right? We have CPI and PPI. As I always say, FOMC meeting minutes is unimportant to me. I don't even regard it as a news specifically. But we have CPI and PPI giving us a high chance of a late week reversal. What does that mean? Well, as I just said, we will form a range, a little like last week, right? So we will form a range early in the week, and then we will be trading inside that range up until those Thursday, Friday moves, which will cause our expansion. So for me, I'm expecting us to trade within a range. Now, we did open very bullish, so I do anticipate that we're going to go ahead and go for that previous week high, but I would like to see consolidation until Thursday, which could just form a low here, as I stated, or we could also see some sort of SMT form at these lows. That would also be very nice to see. I would like to see, although NASDAQ becomes stronger. This is quite a repeating phenomenon that we see is, for example, on our long-term trends. Oliver's all over. Wow. Nice pun. I just had to repeat that out loud when I read it. But if we get back into it, we see oftentimes, for example, long-term trend, ES is the stronger asset, right? We can clearly see ES is taking out highs first, a lot of SMT on the highs with ES being the leader here. But when that happens, we often see an opposite divergence. So for example, what I have just drawn up. So all of a sudden, short term, they switch, and that's where you see NASDAQ truly explode, right? Go on these crazy runs like this is when you see that the weaker asset now becomes the stronger asset short term. You see some very nice low resistance liquidity runs. So that's what I want to try. Now we are starting the first official week of October in my book. So the first complete week of October, even though there was just one day of September there. To me, well, it is week 2, but in my book, it is the first week of the month. So I could still see manipulation and not distribution. I'm going to be framing longs majoritarily until we take this high, right? Previous week's high, possibly trade all the way back into the 2 weeks ago high. I'm trying to find a nice word for it, but there is none coming to mind. So definitely higher objectives, but once we do take out these higher objectives, so let me just add a line to be a little more specific. I can frame retracements because as I stated, I do not like this consolidation right here. I think that we could go complete a market maker sell model. It's very easy to see once we go into these a little bit lower time frames. So right here, you have one side of the curve. You have a reversal at a key array, right? We had our weekly fair value gap, which is also a daily fair value gap, higher time frame SMT at this level, and you had clear displacement away. Now you consolidate for a redistribution above previous week's high, which could lead to us having a distribution lower as our weekly expansion. So I want to see longs. We can go trade all the way up here, but from this point on, I am going to be looking for short setups. I'm going to be ready for short setups. And if we keep going up, well, I'm going to miss one trade and catch a continuation, right? So definitely going to be looking for shorts above previous week's high, hopefully with SMT. Although I see both assets being very near that level, it's going to be a little hard to frame. For those of you who are looking for the pattern, let me just bring this in. Consolidation to be later revisited. You have your first expansion, you have a reaccumulation, second expansion comes into your reversal, confirmed through the displacement last week. And now I would be framing this move higher as just a retracement to continue lower. I'm ready to be wrong, but these are the two ideas I'm getting on, and I'll give more updates along the way. Since it's very late trading days in the week, I tend to do a midweek analysis. There won't be one this week. I do have a very busy week, a lot of meetings coming up to the Right Statistics release. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Bottom Frag. I tend to not go as much in depth about the, how can I say it, the names of things and how I frame things, because I don't need to know all of this. I just framed. All I need to know is I'm on a daily chart. I don't even need this fair value gap. Let's remove all of this. What does price do? It either looks to rebalance areas, right? I'm not even going in depth. Areas, zones, and price, or it targets liquidity. If we can all agree on this, what else do I have? Well, I have liquidity above. I have liquidity below, right? As we framed, let me just remove the colors to have a no bias opinion. What range are we currently trading within? This range. Oh, wrong side. This range. Okay. So if price returns to a discount and then shows bullish price action, for example, closing above previous day high, right? Keep it as simple as this. This is bullish because we closed above previous day high. Okay. Well, the following week, if we are indeed bullish, I'm going to expect us to go target this high. And if we close through this high on a daily time frame, it's going to tell me, okay, we're going for the next high. That simple, right? If we close through this, we're bullish. We're expanding through liquidity. We're not sweeping it and reversing. But if we sweep it, I can then start framing reversals. And where are we going to go? Well, we're going to go target liquidity below because we just rebalanced, well, took out this liquidity, rebalanced this area. So, I mean, after hearing myself say it, it sounds a little more complicated, actually. It's just very, you just have to limit the amounts of concepts you use in my book. So yeah, I could start looking at every consolidation framing. I could start plotting standard deviations of this manipulation lag or this breaker block to frame all my ideas. But it can be as simple as just adjusting throughout the week, seeing which liquidity is being used and how price reacts to these specific areas. But for me, previous week's range will tell me everything I need to know. If we sweep the high, hopefully with SMT, I'm looking for a continuation lower. And if we expand towards the high, well, I'll just have lost one long setup and I'll take continuations on Friday. Pretty straightforward. I repeated myself a lot there. Sorry about that, guys. But I did want to make sure I had a clear idea for you guys. On that note, do we have any questions about the concepts or anything else? I see pretty much all familiar faces here. PTFX, nice to have you with us. All clear, all clear. Awesome. Nice to see you again, Nak. Haven't seen you in here for a while, actually. Nice to have you with us, brother. All right. Well, pretty quick outlook this week, as they usually are, right? We don't have much to say. We see our liquidity, we see our objectives. It's going to go there and do that, or it's going to go there and do that. This is how we'll interact with price. You guys have a great week. As I said, there are going to be no PA reviews because I won't be trading until Thursday. Actually, I'm gonna be very conservative this week. Not interested in the early week price action. There will be a lot of setups. If you guys are, there won't be a lot of setups. Sorry, guys. If you guys are a little more aggressive, I would recommend skipping Monday but trading Tuesday specifically, because as we get closer to CPI, we're going to see a lot more ranging price action up until that CPI. So I would definitely recommend not trading on Wednesday because of that. We'll see each other on Thursday night, though, for our price action review, and we'll also be having another one on Friday. So you guys have a great week. Good luck trading, and I'll always be in chat no matter what. See you guys. Have a great night.